There are many Fujifilm lenses out there that can help you do street photography. But let me tell you what are my top 5 Fujifilm lenses for street photography that are delivering good results. Hi there, my name is Tudor Matescu and welcome to my channel. On my channel I talk about Fujifilm gear, street photography tips and tricks, Sony gear, micro four thirds gear and all the gear that is related to photography and videography. And if you are in this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel for more relevant videos, because soon I will do a comparison for a photography kit on Fujifilm versus a photography kit on Sony related to wedding and event photography, and it will be a very interesting comparison. So let's get to the subject. Let's start with the wide end, and at the wide end I have 80mm f2 lens from Fujifilm. When I bought this lens I was very intrigued because lots of YouTubers criticized this lens. I had before Fujifilm X-F10 and it was a very good camera and I really loved that camera, but it was an f2.8 lens. And I wanted an f2 lens because in low light f2.8 it isn't sufficient, at least for me. So I've bought this lens. On Fujifilm X Pro 3 I must tell you it is an extraordinary lens. It is an do-it-all lens. In crowded places it is very useful. Also when you activate the Sports Finder mode, see my video related to that Sports Finder mode, link in the card, you'll find out that this 80mm f2 will become a 35mm f2 field of view on your Fujifilm camera. So this is why I really recommend this lens for street photography, because with 80mm you can do abstract photography, you can do contextual photography, and when you will put this lens in the Sports Finder mode, or you can use it also at 80mm, 28mm field of view, you can do some contextual portraits with it. And the f2 aperture, it is sufficient to gather enough light and to give you some depth of field for subject separation. It is a go-to lens. I really dig this lens. I really love it. See my review about 80mm f2. Truly recommend it. You can start street photography with this lens, but for beginners this lens it is possible to be a little too wide. So my next recommendation, and it is on the top of my recommendation, it is the 27mm f2.8 Mark II lens. As you can see, this lens it is staying very well on Fujifilm X Pro 3 and also on any Fujifilm body, because it is a very compact lens. Also the 80mm f2 lens, it is very compact and light, but this is a little more compact and as light as this, or maybe a little lighter. So they are very easy to carry lens that are having a very compact form, and also they are delivering very good results. The 27mm Mark II f2.8, it is my go-to lens. It is my everyday lens. I prefer this lens more than the 23mm f2 from Fujifilm or more than X100V, because the field of view of this 27mm f2.8 it is 40mm, and I really like this field of view because it is helping me to get nice contextual portraits. It's helping me to make some good compositions, because this lens it is acting almost like a 50mm lens. And also it is helping me to get some good portraits. The only thing that I really regret about this lens, it's the fact that it is not an f2 lens. Other than that, I have no complaints. It is a truly extraordinary lens. It will make your camera very small, very easy to carry, very easy to maneuver, and it is a very powerful tool to obtain good street photography. So this is my go-to lens when I don't know how the scene will be and what will I shoot in that day. The next lens is the 35mm f2 lens. This 35mm f2 lens, I really love it for what it is and what it's offering. It is an f2 lens, so you will be able to shoot by night in low light with this lens. It has an excellent AF. Probably the best from all the lenses that I have here. So the AF, it is extraordinary, deadly silent, deadly accurate, on the spot, extraordinary AF. You'll have no problems with the AF of this lens. Also the contrast of this lens, it is beautiful and it is extraordinary, this strong contrast, this strong edge sharpness. For street photography, you'll have good subject separation, you'll have good depth of field being a 35mm f2 lens for portraits. So it's a go-to lens for street photography where you want to put the accent more on the subject, more on the humans, more on the faces of the humans. So it's very recommended for this style of photography. The next lens is the 50mm f2 lens. What I like about this lens, it is the fact that it is very compact. So when I need a short telephoto lens, easy to carry, when I don't want my bag to be very heavy to carry, I go for this lens. So I really like this lens, the contrast, the sharpness, extraordinary. It is above the 35mm f2 as resolution, detail, sharpness and contrast. I really love that. The AF in low light, it is okay, but not as great as the 35mm f2, but it is okay, it is workable. The only thing that I don't like it is the fact that it's not a 90mm field of view, so it is a little too short when you need a telephoto. But it's a workable compromise when you want an easy to carry package with you. So it's really recommend to have this lens in your kit when you are thinking about doing abstract street photography or more portrait street photography, or when the scene is not so crowded. Also, this lens is weather resistant like the 35mm f2 and the 27mm f2.8, so this is a huge deal when you are using a weather resistant body. And my next favorite lens, it's Viltrox 56mm f1.4 lens. Well, I really love this lens because it is compact, as you can see, without the laser hood. It is metal built. The AF, it is very fast. It is very silent and it's not hunting. The f1.4, it's making this lens extraordinary for night photography, for portrait street photography. So I really love this lens. I really have wished to be a little sharper like the Viltrox 20mm f1.4, that I feel it's a little bit sharper than this 56, but I can work around that f1.4 lens. When you step down this lens at f2, you'll have enough depth of field and the subject will be very sharp. I also love this lens because it's balancing very well on my X Pro 3. And as I said, I can do abstract photography with it, I can do portrait photography with it, and I can do night photography with it. This is my preferred night photography when I'm going out, because of the f1.4 lens and also because of the field of view. It is a little longer than the 50mm f2, so this is really helping me by night. The f1.4 and the extra reach are really making a difference. This 50mm f2, I prefer to use it by day. It can be used by night, but again, by night I really prefer this lens. So in conclusion, my go-to lens, the first lens that you could use to start street photography and my all-time recommended focal lens, it is the 40mm field of view. So this pancake lens, extraordinary. This compact form, it is extraordinary. This could be your only lens for street photography and it surely could be mine. The only problem that I have with this lens, it is the minimum focus distance, it's not sufficient, and the f2.8, that it's not sufficient for low light and indoor photography. If we could have a 40mm equivalent lens at f2 at least, then it would be another story. Also, having these 5 lenses, it's helping me to be creative and not to get bored with street photography. So when I'm going out, I usually take one lens on my body and another lens in my bag. I don't take all the 5 lenses when I'm going out. So in the majority of time, I do some combinations regarding these 5 lenses. As you can see in this kit, I didn't include the 35mm f1.4 lens from Fuji, and I've decided not to include it because of the AF. The AF, as I've said, it's not very precise, so there are times when I'm missing shots because of this AF, so this I don't like. So this is why it's not in my top 5 lenses for Fujifilm street photography. But there are often times when I'm going out with the 27mm f2 pancake lens when it is good light outside, and when it gets darker I replace the 27mm f2.8 with this 35mm f1.4 lens. I really love to have all these lenses. I know I'm not the one camera guy, as I've said. Having these lenses, it's helping me to stay motivated and have a challenge in my street photography. By using different focal lenses, I challenge myself to do all kinds of street photography style, so this way I'm keeping my passion alive. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, check the links from the comments and from the description for a private POV where I shoot street photography with Fujifilm X Pro 3 and X100V at a turbulent event. Subscribe, share my video and help my channel by letting a comment or make a donation. Thank you very much for your support and talk to you soon. Bye bye.